Welcome, guys, to Frontline Football. I'm Zach, and I'm going to just show you my college football collection, I guess. So, I got this nice A&M shirt. Pretty nice. Then I have this one. And then I have, I'll say that one for last. Then I have this, a UT hat, A&M helmet. Oof, I almost hit the wall. A&M football, uh, Longhorns helmet. The NCAA game, I guess that counts. And ooh, that one was don't slide. Okay. And finally, this is actually an interesting one. If you've seen my background, you're always no one's asked, but if you're ever wondering what the yellow hat is, it's a Hawkeye helmet. But why I say this is because of our kindness challenge of the week, and that is share with a friend or text, call, even talk to them in person, but do what COVID regulations are and your whatever you are. But say what college you're going to and why you want to go to there. So then you can start up another conversation with a friend. It doesn't even have to be a friend that you haven't seen in a long time. So yeah. Oh yeah, I'm roll the intro. Okay, with the Frontline Football Challenge, please add some context and not just say the school that you want to go to. Okay. So with our first thing, this is draft grades. Welcome. With our first team is the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm gonna hand this one off to Jack because his team was so close on making it.
Okay, Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'm gonna go over a quick overview of picks I liked, picks I kind of liked, and picks I hated. I don't have a pick I hated on Jacksonville. I used to, but Trevor Lawrence. Well, that's pretty obvious. He was gonna be the number one pick, literally for since he's won the national championship 2 years ago. Good job. You couldn't have screwed that one up. Travis Etienne, I didn't like at first, but the idea of having a duo of James Robinson and Travis Etienne is starting to grow on me a little bit. I don't love it still, but I don't absolutely hate it. Tyson Campbell, a solid addition. And then Walker Little, I'm not sure. He's a third round pick, so I have a feeling he's going to have some sort of role in the team. I like him moving forward just because they franchise tagged their left tackle that's currently on the roster. I think Cam Robinson is the one currently on the roster. Maybe Walker Little is going to be a pleasant surprise in a year or two when Cam Robinson goes elsewhere. But overall, I'm going to give this draft an A just on the basis of there's nothing dumb in this draft or ridiculous. I like it. It did what it needed to do. You surrounded Trevor with supporting cast. You got him a rep weapon. You got him a lineman. And then you got defense more in the late rounds. But overall, solid draft. I'll give it a A. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Okay, so I believe that the Jaguars had a good draft with some picks here and there. First pick, Trevor Lawrence. The only question with that, why did it take them so long to decide who they want to take with the first pick? Like, I think it was waiting 4 minutes to see who they would decide. But it was a good pick overall. Next with Travis Etienne, I don't like it. I'm sorry. I know that it's I just don't like it. It stinks. Because you already have James Robinson on the roster who's really, really good. And you're just bringing another running back in. I get you're trying to make a two-back system. You have James Robinson already. You're fine on running back. You should have been that somewhere else. Now, if you would have like a second or third round guy, like maybe a Michael Carter or something, that probably would have been better, not Travis Etienne. Next, Tyson Campbell. He's okay. I like the pick. It was pretty good. And then this is one of my big, I think, steals of the draft. Walker Little from Stanford. I remember watching this get picked, and this guy looks like a beast. His draft stock only fell because he got injured. But for his season, for his freshman year, he looked really good. Like, it was insane what he was doing. He could have been like a first round guy if he didn't get injured in a nationally televised game. But Walker Little, I'm gonna give this draft B just because of the ETN pick. I'm gonna bring it down a grade. But besides that, it's an A. So yeah, Zach, what are your thoughts?
Well, Trevor Lawrence, that's a solid pick, and I really love that pick. If you tanked for him, you're not going to choose Fields or Wilson. You're going to choose Trevor, of course. Travis Etienne, I love this pick actually. Having a duo of James Robinson, actually a trio of James Robinson, Travis Etienne, and Carlos Hyde is a really solid duo. I just don't like that Carlos Hyde's there. Maybe you can trade James Robinson, get some good assets, and then you have a Carlos Hyde, Travis Etienne duo. And I think that would be a better duo, and you get more draft capital in this situation. But I'm hearing reports about Travis Etienne being a third down back, which is so stupid. So I like this pick. I know that Urban Meyer loves this pick also. All right, here's the pick I just hate, absolutely hate. Tyson Campbell. There's Asante Samuel on the board. I know that there's no Eric Stokes, but like that's fine. But Asante Samuel's on the board, you take him because he's the best corner in that spot. So Tyson Campbell, I like the pick of a corner. It's just not that corner. So yeah, I think the Chargers should take him. And then Walker Little. Even though he had a good freshman season, we have not seen him play other than his freshman season. So he is so we don't know what he's gonna do on the NFL level. So let's see what he can do. That's what I just have to say. I'm gonna give and they worked on defense with their other picks. I'm gonna give this draft grade a B plus. It's a solid one. I just think that the Walker Little stuff is a little sketchy, and the Tyson Campbell stuff they could on Asante. So yeah. All right. With our next team is gonna be a team that didn't even pick in the first round or the second round, the Houston Texans. I'm gonna hand this one off to Josh.
Yay, my okay. So with the Texans' first pick of the draft, they drafted Davis Mills, quarterback, Stanford. Now, I really wanted Kellen Mond, but a stupid team before us, Vikings, stole him from the Texans. But I feel like this was a good pick, even though that I didn't get the guy who I wanted. This was still a great pick because Caserio looked at the needs and saw that we needed a quarterback. Because I don't know if you've been living under a rock for the past couple months, but Watson's going bye-bye. It's either to jail or it's to another team. Or it's maybe both. So we don't really know what's happening there. It could go anyway. So this was a good pick to help stop the bleeding. And also the thing is, he's not thrusted into the starting role day one. He's going to sit behind Tyrod Taylor and leave the Tyrod Taylor effect work on Davis Mills like it has for every other quarterback that has sat under Tyrod Taylor. Next was our pick, Nico Collins. I believe that this was the best pick for in the third round. I believe this was one of the best picks that we could make. Nico Collins is fast, and he can contested catch. Now, you might know this, but the number one wide receiver on the Texans, Brandon Cooks, he's pretty short. He can't jump ball. So we just got a speed team who can also make contested catches, too. So I feel like this is a dive into the rough, and I feel like this is a really good pick. Now, because this is the third round, I will not give the Texans a high grade of a A or something, but I believe that this was a B draft from the place that they were in, and the way that the Caserio made this happen and tried to basically stop the bleeding of the Texans. This was the best he probably could. So yeah, Zach, what are your thoughts?
All right. Well, Davis Mills, okay, pretty good junior season, having 1,960 yards. But the scary thing is 11 picks. That means that he was forcing the ball into 11 TDs and 5 picks. That's not good. That's great stats for a college quarterback, but let's see his senior season. Okay. 1,508 yards. Okay, went down passing yards. He went down touchdowns. Okay, well, went down picks. That's pretty good, but he also had an injury, so we don't know what his true stats were going to be. But seeing those injury problems, and he kind of went down in production, is a little interesting. I can't blame him for the injuries for down in production, though. It happens, and yeah, I don't know about Davis Mills. He'll need to sit. He's very raw. If you can do well with this talent, you can actually form a good QB. Um, their wide receiver Nico Collins, it's fine. I mean, trading up for him, I think that's a smart move because trading up to get a wide receiver is good because you lost Will Fuller, and yeah, Will Fuller was pretty fast. So I guess this is their Will Fuller replacement. And then I'm going to talk about one more, and that is Beavrin Jordan or Byron Jordan. I don't know. But this
Reverend
is a
Jordan.
steal. I don't care, Josh. But this guy is a steal, and I had him as like the fourth best tight end or third best tight end, and he's just been going up in production. So I'm gonna give this grade the Texans a B minus. In their situation, I can't trust Davis Mills to do well in the NFL level, and I can trust these other two, maybe the wide receiver, but I can trust the tight end to do well. So yeah, Jack.
Houston Texans. So overall, I like this draft for what they were handed pretty much, and pretty much starting their draft in the third round. I like Davis Mills as an interesting, maybe developmental, and then you sit him behind Tyrod. You work on that for a couple years, because I don't think Watson's going to make it back. I like Nico Collins as well. He's another intriguing pick. But here comes the love pick. I love Brevlin Jordan a lot. He's one of my favorite tight ends in the draft, and I think this is a steal, especially in round 5. Because I believe that Darren Fells signed with the Lions yesterday, I saw. And I think Brevlin Jordan may have a shot to come in immediately and make an impact. So overall, you're starting to rebuild the weapons that you lost in the offseason with Fuller and Brevlin Jordan. I don't hate it. I like it. It's a solid draft. I'm going to give it a B.
Okay, you guys have just done solid, like A, B, not B minus and A and stuff. That's good. That's interesting. Okay, now it's for the team that made the playoffs, the Indianapolis Colts. I'm gonna hand this one. Actually, I'll take this one. All right, with their first round pick, Kwity Paye. I like it. It's a good thing because they need an edge. His story is kind of cool. So yeah, and then with their second round pick, they choose another edge. So they double down on edges. Which, hey, if Kwity Paye doesn't work out, hopefully this guy works out. But I don't like this. They should have just kept with Kwity Paye. Kwity Paye will be really good. And then they don't pick in the third round. They get a tight end. Okay. Yeah, this is fine. I mean, I'm going to give this a B minus like the Texans. I mean, they worked on needs in the 6th and 7th with Sam Ellinger and a wide receiver. But they should have gone wide receiver earlier because who do you have that Russell Wilson will pass to? You have Michael Pittman Jr., T.Y. Hilton, and I don't know who the third option is. So you need to figure out something to do, Colts, because I don't think that Carson Wentz will turn back to MVP form with Michael Pittman Jr. and T.Y. Hilton. So, yeah. I like the Kwity Paye, so I'm going to give you guys a B minus. Jack?
All right, Colts. All right, start out top. Kwity Paye. I like Kwity Paye at 21. Realistically, you don't really have an edge presence. You have Buckner. I think Kwity Paye is going to help Buckner out a lot. They're going to both be benefactors of each other. Then you double down on D-line, and then I'm not liking it as much because, like Zach said, I like Pittman. Hilton's old, and Zach Pascal is average at best. Why didn't you get a receiver here? I get edges in need, but at the end of the day, you got to help develop Carson Wentz. Tight ends are, I guess, good? Sorta? They're not great. I would have 100% taken some sort of weapon here for Carson Wentz. As for Kellen Grayson, okay, in the 4th. That's a solid pick, I guess. And then Sean Davis is to replace Malik Hooker. Ellinger is just a swing in the dark. And Michael Strachan. Okay. And then Will Fries. Okay. So, overall, you waited a little too long to address needs. You should have addressed receiver or O-line in that second round pick. You screwed around for a bit, you waited, and now you're taking swings, and you're expecting this Michael Strachan guy to be a number one receiver or something. It's not going to happen. You waited too long. I like Kwity Paye. I don't like the rest of it. I'll give it a B minus, almost in the C plus range, like a super low B minus, like a 80 kind of thing. Not great. You didn't address offensive needs early enough. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Okay, Colts, get ready because this draft is going to be a whooping. So, let's first start off with your first pick, Kwity Paye. Absolutely love it. Just like the rest of us have said, this was amazing. You did great. Good job, Colts. You get a gold star for this pick. That A minus right there. All I had to do was be smart and draft well. And unfortunately, you did not. You decided to double down and select Deo Njobo. Don't know how to pronounce that name, and that is really hard. So, no, bad, boo, terrible. Not even the slightest bit good. You should have drafted a receiver here. This class is loaded with receivers. Even if you didn't get a receiver in the first round, you could get one in the second just as good as those first round guys. With this, that already brings your grade down from an A minus to a C. And finally, we'll just do a bonus pick here because he was first talent and now he's fallen all the way to the 6th round. Sam Ellinger. He's had a weird career at Texas from watching him, and no, I'm not an A&M fan. I'm a Houston Texans fan. I just had to decide to wear it today. But with that, Sam Ellinger, he had an up and down career at Texas. He had Charlie Strong. Not the other dude. Why am I forgetting the other dude's name? I'm not going to think about it right now. But he had a bunch of different systems. But I believe that this was a good backup and maybe a good replacement if Carson Wentz somehow does not work out the way that you want to. He could be a solid starter to put in. So I believe with this draft, you guys get a C just because of that second round pick. You guys did not draft.
Okay. So did everyone say their stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. With our final team for the AFC, but don't end because we're also doing Bucks and all that. And it's gonna be the Tennessee Titans. I'm gonna hand this one off to Jack. What are your thoughts?
This Titans draft, in my opinion, is one of the more interesting ones. Caleb Farley is the ultimate boomer bust in my eyes. He's either going to be an elite corner in 3 years, or he's going to be out of the league with a nagging back issue in 3 years, and there's no in between with it. It's a massive roll of the dice, but the upside is massive, because if Caleb Farley pans out, you're in business. Boom, you got a nice corner. Now, Dylan Rundus, I'm guessing this is your Isaiah Wynn replacement, because that guy was just... I don't think that guy had any... He's an interesting situation. He got into trouble, and it was one of the worst first-round picks I've ever seen. But anyway, if this guy can replace Isaiah Wynn and run the right tackle role, I guess it's fine. I can't tell you anything about him. I've never watched anything on him. As for Monty Rice, I think this is a nice pick because the linebacker core outside of Rashaan Evans is on one-year deals, so you need some reassurance, and I've seen some Monty Rice, and I'm a big fan. Elijah Molden is another pick. I think Elijah Molden is a solid corner, and you did what you needed to do in this draft, pretty much. You got a right tackle, you can hope. I'm not sure about that guy. And you got two corners, because you got to remember, Adoree Jackson, gone. Malcolm Butler, gone. The secondary was falling apart over there. So you did what you needed to do. So as I look at this draft, it's growing on me. I'm going to give it a B+, just on the fact that if Caleb Farley pans out, it goes up to an A- for me. If Caleb Farley doesn't, it's a B+. It stands as a B+. I think you did what you needed to do. You got a linebacker, since that's going to be a need next year. You got corners, which is a big need, and you got a right tackle. I think that's a pretty solid draft in my eyes. I would have liked a wide receiver a little earlier, maybe in round 4 instead of a D-end, because you paid Dupree all the money, but that's fine for now. Overall, B+ draft. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Okay, Caleb Farley, guy that actually won it for the Cardinals to draft. It's a boomer bust guy. Not because of like he's horrible in his talent. I think he'll show the talent on the field. It's just how long can he stay on the field is the problem. He's dealing with back surgery. I think it's covered now, but it's not really that good. And Caleb Farley needs to get he doesn't need to work on he needs to work on some mechanics in this game, but a very solid corner. If he didn't have the injuries, he would be probably the first corner taken if it wasn't for injuries. Then their offensive tackle issue. I'm not gonna even try to pronounce that name. But he's really good. I think he went to the same school as Trey Lance, so there's a little bit of fear in this because he never went against good pass rushers. I'm not saying that there was bad pass rushers in their league. It's just they weren't going against like really good pass rushers that are like the first round guys. And then linebacker, you need to replace some of your linebacker. Your linebacking core, you lost Clowney, so this is a solid pickup. And then Elijah Molden is a good pickup because you lost Malcolm Butler, and who was the other?
Adoree Jackson.
Adoree Jackson. Yeah, this is a good. I'm giving you guys also a B+. I know we're being really nice with these teams, but I like a B+ for these guys. If Farley works out, maybe an A. Yeah. Josh?
Okay, just like the said, Farley, simple as that. Let's not try to beat around the bush here. Boomer bust. So, if he does well, this draft grade goes up to an A. But if he doesn't, this draft grade will stay at what I decided will be. Dylan Rondons. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. If I'm not, I'm sorry about that. It's kind of weird to me because he was at the F level. It's the same thing I have with Trey Lance. Just only the difference is Trey Lance actually gets some time to develop. Just saying, all of us on Frontline Football did choose Trey Lance to go number 3, so just a little flex there. But this guy, he's being thrown into the fire week 1, it looks like. And especially with Isaiah Wilson not working out, this is scary because this guy has only played FCS competition yet, never playing the FBS. I'm not saying he can't do well with being an FBS player. There have been multiple people who have done well with FBS, but it's kind of scary because you never played that big competition. You played FCS schools. So next, Monty Rice, really good guy. I think that's good too. And Elijah Molden. Molden, one of the best guys in this draft. And I believe that was a good pick on you. So I will give this draft a B+.
Okay. Now we're gonna go on to the NFC South, and the first place team was the Saints. So we're doing Saints first, guys. So I'm gonna hand this one off to Jack.
Saints. Not a fan. I'm just gonna be straight up. Not a big fan of this draft. Peyton Turner? I'm not saying Peyton Turner's a bad player, but first round? for some of the guys that went off in the second, no, just no. Pete Warner or Werner, I've heard good things about him, so I'll give you a pat on the back for that one. Ooh, Paulson Adebo, okay, that's another solid pick. Then Ian Brook, meh. Landon Young, tackle out of Kentucky, and Kwan, okay. So overall, hate Peyton Turner where they got him. Pete Warner and Adepo are solid, so I guess credit to them. This is a mad draft for me. I'm gonna give it another B minus. It's not doing it for me. I like 2 players in the entire draft class, and I hate the first round picks, so not a fan. B minus on my part. What are your thoughts, Josh?
So with my thing right here, they did. Let's see. Peyton Turner. Already don't like that. That's your grade down from A to a B, because if you don't land on your first round pick, it's really hard for me to like the rest of your draft, because your first round pick is basically like your opening statement to a speech. And if you mess up on that part, I'm not listening to you the rest of the way. So you have already lost my attention with this pick. You could have had him. You wanted him in the second round. There were so many better players on that board that you didn't have to choose Peyton Turner there. Pete Warner, I've seen some stuff about him. He seems like a good pick, so that will keep your stuff at a B for right now. So good job on that. Pete Warner should be good if he pans out the way that people at Ohio State think he will. Then Paulson Otto, he seems like a good pick too. Good guy from Stanford and seems to really do well. So I will say good job on that one. And that will keep it at B. And then finally, Ian Book. It's supposed to be your Drew Brees replacement. One day, Jameis Winston. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Because here's the thing. You had to get a replacement, and I don't think Ian Book is the answer. He lost by 38 points to Alabama in his last game. And let's go over the stuff they did. He got shut out against Clemson. I believe he was the starter for that game, or that was the guy before him. But anyway, he stinks. I'm sorry. He's not a good quarterback. Notre Dame is not a good program. They snubbed Texas A&M of the CFB championship game. They snubbed them of that, which is really sad. And I don't think that this is a good pick. To be completely honest, I don't think it's good. So your grade from me will be a B minus, a borderline C plus right there. So bad. That was terrible, Saints. You could have done so many other things, and you just blew it. Zach, what are your thoughts?
Okay, with the first round, I think that they should have gone. If I was the Saints, I know that this guy he had issues with, wasn't it, JOK. Didn't he have issues with like his heart or something? I would say I don't care about that stuff, and I would choose him anyway. And he's a good linebacker, second best linebacker in this if he did not have that problem. And I think that they should have taken him with the first round pick. So I don't like this. They could have gotten him in the second round most likely. All right, and then they deal with this issue in the second round that I just mentioned. Pete Warner, I like it. They lost a lot of pieces on that linebacking core, so I think it's a good pick. Corner in the third round, yes, but it should have happened earlier, in my opinion. But you can't really choose where you want your players. So if they like this guy, I think he's a solid corner, and he'll do well. Ian Book, nope, I don't like it. No, it is a bad pick. I do not trust Texas QBs. Name a Texas QB that's good. You can't. Then offensive tackle, yeah, you need line help, and wide receiver, he'll probably be on the practice squad. So, yeah, I give you guys a C plus because I do not like this at all. All right. With our next team is the Super Bowl champs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I'm gonna hand this one. Actually, I'm gonna take this one. All right, Joe Tryon, outside linebacker. This is their JPP replacement. So I think that's solid. They don't really have any needs. They brought everyone back. So yeah, Joe Tryon, that's a good pick. Kyle Trask. Some of the games kind of like that one game kind of scared me. He was a first round guy though for like few months. And then he had that 5-pick game that was not that good. And then they get a tackle to protect Brady. Makes sense. And then they get a wide receiver, even though I understand, yes, you need wide receiver, but this is a weird draft. They don't need anything. I can't really say it. I'll give them a B because I like the Kyle Trask, I like the tackle, and I like the outside linebacker help for JPP. So, yeah, I'm going to give it a B. I can't really give it an A because it's just replacements for their other teammates. So, yeah. Josh.
Okay, so first let's talk about Joe Tryon, I believe his name is. Sorry if I butchered your name. I don't mean to do with any of these players. I just don't watch a lot of college football. So with Joe Tryon, I think that this was a good pick. If they believe that it's the best guy on the board, that's probably the best. His stats are not the best that I've seen, but he did really good sophomore season. But the scary thing is we haven't seen him in a year because he opted out. This is the scary thing about this draft is opt-outs because we haven't seen them in a year. So if they're still be the same person, but more year in 2019, he had 41 total tackles and 12.5 of them for loss, 8 sacks. So pretty good, actually. And being in the Tampa Bay system, I don't believe that they are going to start him right off. They're going to slowly feed him into the system, but he is a first-round pick. So I do believe that it's going to be with a bit of that they're going to be feeding him in. And then Kyle Trask, this was the best situation he could have gone to. You're training with the GOAT. You have a free Super Bowl championship next year. All their starters returned. So you probably have an easy ride to the Super Bowl. So you get a ring before you even start a game. And you get to train under training. And you get to have all-star wide receivers around you. This is the best situation they could have been in for any draft. So I believe that he could be the next best thing in the NFL if this works out on the Buccaneers part. And finally, I'll go to Robert Hainsey, tackle from Notre Dame. One thing that scares me, like all the Notre Dame prospects, is when we got shut out by Alabama. And I know what you're going to be saying in the comments. Oh, well, they had 8 first-round picks from Alabama. I don't care. You're in the national championship, semifinals. You should be scoring a point on Alabama. A&M scored a point. Almost every single team has scored a point on Alabama. Even LSU scored a point. Mississippi State scored a point. These teams score points on Alabama, and yes, they play in conference, and that doesn't make a difference. But you're freaking Notre Dame. You need to score a point on them. So I blame that entire team for that shutout loss. So I don't really like these prospects who are coming out of Notre Dame. I do believe that he could be a good tackle with the right system around him, especially with Tristan Wirfs already on the left side. He can run the right side, and it'll be all good to go. So, Jack, what are your thoughts on the Bucs draft? Because I give it a or A+.
The Bucs. So I love the first-round pick, Joe Tryon. This should have been the pick at the Saints pick and the Ravens pick. This was the best edge on the board, in my opinion, when they picked. But I'm complaining about the Ravens in the North video. I'll save that for later. But I like Joe Tryon because he's just an intriguing prospect to me. And you get to sit behind JPP and Shaq Barrett for a year or two. That sounds very nice. Especially, it's creating a pipeline of edge rushers. Meaning when Shaq Barrett or JPP leaves, boom, Joe Tryon, ready to go. Bam. That's how you do it. Take the best player available. He's not even going to start immediately. Boom. This is home run. Kyle Trask, I like. It feels ideal for a place like Tampa Bay. It was an interesting. You don't really have any needs, major needs necessarily, so you're able to do something like this. You're able to take a second-round QB on a Super Bowl-ready roster, and I like it. It's giving you some sort of future, and it's going to give you the best situation anybody's ever been in to develop as a quarterback, especially for Statue Trask. And Robert Hainsley. Okay, Notre Dame. So he's Notre Dame lineman. I don't know much about him, but he feels okay, especially because we know Wirfs is there. Probably need another tackle eventually. I believe the other one they have is a little old. So developmental makes sense. I don't know enough about him to truly judge the pick. And overall, you couldn't have done a real better job than this. I like all the picks. I'll give it an A- just because there are some drafts in the A's and the A+ that I preferred, but this is a great draft if you're Tampa Bay. If I'm a Bucs fan, I'm coming away very happy.
Okay. With our next team is the Carolina Panthers, a team that actually has an upside, a very good upside. I'm gonna hand this one off to Jack.
Oh, Carolina. Now, this is the exact reason I think of the Bucs, and I love. This is one of the drafts that I really love because I take a guy I like, and they did it like 4 times. J.C. Horn, I don't see the scheme fit. I've heard that he doesn't really fit a zone scheme, but I'm not GM. I don't know what they want to do with him. At the end of the day, I like J.C. Horn as a player, so I'm gonna say I like the pick. Terrence Marshall, another guy I like. It's a nice difference because you could have DJ Moore in the slot, Robbie Anderson for the speed, and now Terrence Marshall can be a contested catcher. I feel like it gives Sam Darnold a vast array of weapons there. Love that pick. Now here's another pick I love. Brady Christensen, tackle out of BYU. This is Zach Wilson's blindside blocker. This is a nice tackle. This is a solid tackle. I think he'll take a little time just because the competition gap when it came to BYU specifically, I think any BYU prospect is going to take time to adjust. I don't think that automatically counts them out or anything, but it will take a little bit of time to adjust. Even if the competition is lesser that you're playing there, you're going to the NFL. It's a big jump. It's going to take time, but overall, I think Brady Christensen will make the jump. Tommy Tremble, boom, another pick I love. I love Tommy Tremble. He's him, Brevlin Jordan, and Kyle Pitts, Freiermuth. Those are the big 4 for me. I love those guys in the draft. This is another solid weapon for Sam Darnold. Chuba Hubbard in the fourth round, another guy I really like. So this guy's another intriguing draft pick. I like him. He's not going to start. That's not what he's here to do. Mike Davis is on the Falcons. You're going to need a replacement. This is your change of pay to CMC. Like when CMC's gassed or he's tired or he's injured, Chuba Hubbard's going to come in and give you solid production. I think he can work here. And then let's see, who else stands out in this draft? I like Deontay Brown, Alabama guard. I had my eye on him in the late rounds for the Jets, but Panthers, another great lineman here. I think this guy could be a steal in the future. I don't expect him to be a day 1 starter, but keep an eye on him down the line. This will be one of my few A+ I give out. I think Panthers just hit it out of the park here. They got so many players I like. They got so much help, specifically for Sam Darnold. This is really nice. You got your wide receiver. You got another wide receiver. You got a tackle that's got a lot of potential. You got a tight end that's got potential. You've got a running back that got potential. And last but not least, J.C. Horn in the first. If you scheme him right, I think he's going to be elite. This is a great draft overall, and I love this draft. A+ for me. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Well, all right, J.C. Horn at this pick, I like it. I wish I had him, but I can't really complain because prospect got taken before the Cardinals picked. Okay. Then with Terrence Marshall, it's a good third option, and Sam Darnold has another weapon to throw to. Now, if Sam Darnold cannot get it done with Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and Terrence Marshall, then he should not be a quarterback in the NFL because that is amazing weapons right there. And then you add on Tommy Temple and Chuba Hubbard, which he's not a passing back, but you also have CMC back there. So if you don't produce well out of the New York Jets, which I'm sorry, but they had horrible receivers, tight ends, and running backs, except for Le'Veon Bell, but Adam Gase really didn't use him as a passing back. Yeah, you don't deserve to be a quarterback if you are dealing with this amount of weapons and you're not getting it done. I love this draft, and I'm going to also give it a A plus. Josh.
Okay, so with this, I think that this was a good draft. First, J. Horn, I've heard from you guys, not really a scheme fit, but he's J.C. Horn. I think he'll do well. So that already keeps you at a good A plus right now. Terrence Marshall, chef's kiss. Great job. Great pickup there. He is going to be a great third option with having DJ Moore and Robbie in, and now Terrence Marshall in the core, in the receiving core. It's going to be lethal. Sam Darnold better do well here. And Sam Darnold has shown flashes of doing well, but now he has a great receiving core to help him. And then Brady Christensen, he seems like a good player, just he may take a little bit of time to develop because he is from BYU, and the step in competition is a lot higher because this is an independent school. I like the pick. I just don't know if he'll pan out yet. But we're still riding high at an A plus. Now Tommy Tremble, great pickup, amazing pickup. He was probably one of the best players on Notre Dame's roster, and I believe that you got a great pickup there. Now, what is scary is, like I've said for every other Notre Dame prospect, the Alabama game. I'm not gonna stop talking about it because that is film that they can look at, and it's especially a championship game, a bowl game that you were in. So that kind of scares me about that, but I believe that that was more the team effort than it was any individual person. So anybody here, and I do mean that your school usually gets the committee, and even if they don't do well, they still get into the bowl games. But I don't believe that this should be taken out on the players. I believe that this was a team effort, but it is scary for all of the individuals on that team. And then finally, you have Chuba Hubbard with the 4th round pick that you traded down to get from the Texans. Amazing pick right there. Great pick for that spot. I really thought that Hubbard was going to be like 3rd round guy, and you got him in the 4th round. This was an A plus all around. And I believe that even the trade, Chuba Hubbard and the Texans got Nico Collins. Great trade, great pick. That is an A plus from me. That is how you draft.
All right, with our final team of the video today, we have the the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, okay. Josh, you start us off.
I just gotta look up their draft picks. Here we go. And there we go. Okay, so with their first pick, they took Kyle Pitts out of Florida. You know who Kyle Pitts is. I don't need to explain any other thing about him. I like Kyle Pitts. Don't get me wrong. He's a general tight end talent. He seems amazing. You had a defense that really needed work. And you probably just should have traded down at that point. It was more of an offensive 1st round. I like the pick. I just don't like the team that got him. You should have traded down. If you weren't going to select fees, you shouldn't have got this. And their next pick, they had Richie Grant. I just got to check up on a couple of things before I say my take here. So he seems like a really good pick, especially from what I see about him. He seems like a good player. Oh, yeah, UCF guy. Really, I think he's a great safety to add to your roster. Just like I said in the 1st round, this probably should be somebody like a Trayvon Moorhig. But Richie Grant is still really good, and I think that that's a great thing that you guys got. Next, lineman Jalen Mayfield. I get it. I like it. at that spot. If he can stay healthy, I believe a good pick. And yeah, that was really good. And I think have also been a first round guy, if not for all the injuries that had piled up. So finally, cornerback Darren Hall. I think that that's a really good pick too in the fourth round, especially you're trying to assess your defense and make it do next year. So my final grade for this draft would probably be a B. We really don't give low ratings here. We kind of base this off of what the team situation is. Players themselves, we base it off the team situation. If you didn't draft Kyle Pitts and you drafted somebody else, I would have said that's nay. I think Kyle Pitts is still going to be great, but it's not what you guys needed at that point. So I'm going to hand it off to Jack for his take.
Falcons. So, when I look at this draft on paper, about 3 guys stand out to me. One is tight end Kyle Pitts. I think it makes sense. Julio Jones' future is currently uncertain with the rumors that are coming out of Atlanta lately. And you do need a wide receiver. If you were going to do that, I would have traded down to get more assets. But then again, if you like Kyle Pitts' ceiling to be one of the greats at tight end, then take him at 4. Don't overthink it. But that just depends on your feelings on Pitts. They were clearly high on the kid. So I think I like this pick. I don't love it because of where it happened, but I like it. Richie Grant is a solid addition to the secondary, especially one that's going to be missing Keanu Neal. So I'm curious what role they're going to put him in. He feels versatile enough to do a lot. He's intriguing moving forward. I'd like to see how he develops. I've heard of him. I don't know much about him, but I can't hate it. It's about where he was supposed to get picked. He's second-round talent. This is okay. And then I think Jalen Mayfield here at round 3 is super good, especially moving forward. You got to get some O-line help, just in case. I'm not sure how the O-line situation is looking over there. Literally, anyone I remember on that line is elsewhere. So I guess that one makes sense as well. No one else really stands out to me. Overall, if you were the Falcons, you had a lot of needs. I would have personally traded down. I get Kyle Pitts is great, but there's like a lot. There's a lot of work to be done on this roster, but overall, I don't hate the draft. They did good. Some picks I like more than others. Those first 3 really stand out, but overall, solid draft. Nothing to write home about or anything, but I'll give it a B-. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I love this draft, actually. Okay, Kyle Pitts at 4. I love this pick. It's probably my favorite pick of the Falcons. And because who is going to stop this offense? Matt Ryan had a great year last year, and they just gave him another weapon. So, and with Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones, if Kyle Pitts works out like he did in Florida, this will be the most dangerous tight end coming out of Florida. All right. So with the second round pick, Richie Grant. Okay. This is a safety. You usually don't take safeties pretty early, but I like it. Richie Grant is a very solid safety coming out of UCF, and he'll do really good for this team. And then Jalen Mayfield. I had Jalen Mayfield going in the second round or late first round. So getting him in the third round is amazing. And then finally, Darren Hall, corner. It'll take a little bit of time for him to get into the roster, but I think that will be like their next number 1 or number 2 corner in this draft. I'm gonna give this Falcons. I'm gonna give it an A- because I really like the picks here, and I think they did well. Now there's always next season to work on defense because I think Kyle Pitts is such a good talent that you can't trade out of that pick. So yeah, and who was gonna trade up for the number 4 pick? That's a lot of draft capital to trade for. So yeah. All right, well, that does it for our video today. If they liked it, what should they do, Josh?
If you liked it, don't forget to hit that like button, punch that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and join the Frontline Football fan base. What is the Frontline Football fan base, you must be saying? The Frontline Football fan base is the most up-to-date and fans from Frontline Football, and because they like and subscribe and they turn on the notifications, so they always have news from us every single week. Now, we're sorry that this upload is so late. We've been very busy this last week, but we promise you that these next couple weeks, fasten your belts. We're going to be going 100 because the schedule reveal is Wednesday. We have more draft grades coming out because we're not going to say them all at once because we have in-depth analysis on these players. And we got to make sure that you, the fans, are up to date on every single thing happening in the NFL. And we are so excited to have you guys along with this journey. 63 subscribers. Let's keep that going all the way to 100. And then after that, we're going to keep on going. So I am so happy until the end of the video. And I've been Josh from Frontline Football. Jack, hit the plugs.
As always, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Links are going to be in the description for you there. Hope you enjoyed this rollout of draft grades. They're going to keep coming from here. We're going to go over them, give maybe stuff changes. It's going to be over the next 2 or 3 weeks to a month. We're going to keep going over them, and we'll see. Stuff is probably going to change about how I like each of these picks as time changes, as things settle in. But overall, draft season continues at Frontline Football. We'll see you guys back here next week.
See ya.